Boys and girls, does anyone here know anything about the Bill of Rights? Billy?
The Bill of Rights are the first 12 amendments in the U.S. Constitution, and
Yes, the Bill of Rights are the first 12 amendments in the Constitution, although 2 of them were crossed out. The First Amendment is based on freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. It was written in 1791. Freedom of religion, that means that no one can make or force you to learn or believe in a certain religion. Freedom of speech means that you have the right to speak.
I have a speech to make, everyone. What if the Bill of Rights was not created as is? That is my speech.
Now, Dawn, there is absolutely no need for that. Anyway, moving on to the Constitution like we were. Can anyone answer Dawn's question, what if the Bill of Rights were not created as is? Billy?
if the Bill of Rights was not created as is, then we wouldn't have the rights to study our own religions, to speak for ourselves, to write about what we want to gather people up and protest, and to have the right to get people to sign something.
What if we weren't given the rights for women to vote?
We want our right to vote! 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 Women can't go to school or do basically anything. We marry so early and all we do our whole life is cook, clean, and take care of our children. We want our rights to vote because men get to vote but women can't.
We don't need rights. We already have them. We can vote, we can own land. There's no need to protest and fight. You will never get the right to vote because you women don't need rights.
Alex, stop daydreaming in class.
Oh, so that's what happens if women weren't given their rights to vote.
Oh, yeah, that's what would happen. Now, Alice, please don't daydream in class anymore. Tell me, Alex, what do you know about the Great Compromise?
Well, the Great Compromise was a big solution to the 13 colonies problem of how to be represented.
Yes, you're right. The delegates could not decide how they would use the people represent their state. Let's say Virginia wanted to be represented based on the population, since they had a lot of people living there. But let's say New Jersey wanted just 2 representatives for every state, because they don't have an abundant amount of people living there. So the people came up with the Great Compromise. The people decided to use both ideas. What if the Great Compromise wasn't thought as it was? Dawn?
Let's see. Well, if the Great Compromise wasn't created as it was, then states would be against state, and everyone would be confused to decide which way to be represented. There could have been a war, and what does the word compromise mean anyway?
Ashley?
I know. Compromise means to agree on something, to use everyone's idea.
Good. That's enough of the Great Compromise. Class, let's talk about black suffrage. Do any of you know what that means?
I think I know.
Billy?
I think it means that blacks suffered. Oh yeah, I'm so right. Wait, I also have a question. What if Amendment 15 was never made as it was made?
No, no, no. The blacks did not suffer. In fact, that's totally the opposite. It meant the blacks got their right to vote.
Good, Billy and Don. I want to add on to that. If the 15th Amendment was not created, blacks wouldn't get to vote or do whatever they wanted to. Well, blacks kind of could vote, but every 5 black slaves equaled 3 white men. I would say that was really not fair because white men were still more important than black men and women.
What if the rights for black were not given to them? We want our rights. We want our rights.
Why are you protesting?
Well, just because I have different and darker colored skin doesn't mean I have no rights. Black people are not allowed to do anything, not allowed to vote and own land. Plus, we also had to work for our white masters all day and get no pay for a job. It's not even funny.
I understand. We as women can't do anything either.
Yeah, we women get nothing. People think women are at least treated better than Virginia slaves, but they are not. All we do is work, work, work in the house, but never ever get to vote or own land. Also, the women can't use their voice to speak about problems or things that we all need to discuss about. Only men can do it, especially rich men only. I'm getting sick about men and all this housework. No freedom. That's why I agree with all of you. Now I know how blacks feel.
We're talking about Amendment 18 and 21. Amendment 18 states that people in the United States cannot manufacture liquor, sell them, or transport liquor. This amendment was created in year 1919. By 1931, a lot of people realized prohibition had been a terrible mistake. All except President Hoover, who actually increased government spending on prohibition law enforcement.
But as the law went on, more and more people formed hideouts to drink. Well, this article was ratified 1 year after.
Amendment 21 stated that Amendment 18 was no longer in effect.
Ooh, what if the repeal of prohibition was not created?
I wonder what would happen. Yo, hideouts totally rock. We love to sell liquor.
Okay, on the 3 parts of the Constitution, the first part of the Constitution is the preamble. The preamble is the introduction of the U.S. Constitution. It explains the meaning and main idea of our Constitution and amendments. The preamble is really important and addresses the whole Constitution.
The next part of the Constitution are the articles. It is the body of the laws. Constitution, also known as the articles, and also tells about the laws, freedoms, and rights.
Good job, Tanya, but please don't call up next time.
I was just reading it from my binder.
What if
the voting age was not changed to 18?
It's not fair if I fight for this country and I don't get the right to vote.
18-year-old boys are enough to
To be drafted to fight in the war, but they're not allowed to vote? That's just crazy.
If you don't let us vote, then we won't fight for you the next time there's a war.
Yeah! Time for lunch.
Yay!